to say about it. I know Holly read it, which I'm really glad because I don't have a ton of things to say. I just want to share some of the quotes I've loved and things I've learned, since she can even just fill in the blanks. But like I said in my video, what's perfect is, well, I'll just start reading. So one of the very first quotes in the book. So as many of you know, my big hashtag this year is Best Life Now. And I want it to be our team hashtag, even though it didn't get voted, but this is why. This is why. It says, most of us live two lives, the lives we live and the lives we are capable of living. It's the life that we know exists somewhere deep inside us that we wish we could actualize. This life isn't driven by the you who settles or gives into procrastination and doubt, but by the optimal you, the best you, the confident you, the healthy you. The you who shows up with your best stuff, making things happen, making a difference, living a life of significance. If I could sum up my mission statement for this team, that would literally be it. I just want us to live our best lives. You know, I think it was either in this book or a John Maxwell thing I was listening to, that like the average person lives up to like 10% of their full potential. I was like, oh God, don't let me be one of those people, you know? Just super depressing. I want us to be the confident us, the healthy us, the, you know, us that makes things happen and make a difference and live a life of significance. That's what I want for this team. So when I read that, I'm like, yes, like, thank you for writing my mission statement for me. And then he goes on to say that, you know, the single greatest market differentiator, the barrier standing between you and the life you're capable of living is a lack of consistent execution. It's not talent. It's not knowledge. It's not atmosphere, culture, background, who your parents are, how much money you have. It's execution, consistent execution. And this is the part that really started the reason he said throw out the annual plan. You'll notice I kind of was getting along already on this track. You know, I had a lot of my team fill out a goal sheet at the beginning of this year. And I didn't ask them what their year-end goals were. I asked them what their, like, it was like by May 24th. So kind of like their halfway year goals. Halfway year goals. That's a good quote. You know, because I think when you think so long term, it's so easy to just get lazy at the beginning of the year. And I don't want that for us. So he goes on to say, we lack a sense of urgency, not realizing that every week is important, every day is important, every moment is important. We need to be conscious of the reality that execution happens daily and weekly, not monthly or quarterly. And then, so I just, on that section, it's just so true. Like I procrastinate. I mean, I totally procrastinate. You know, I have like monthly goals, but it's kind of like if I don't hit them, I'm like, oh, I have 11 more months to hit them, you know, because if it's January. You know, year-end goals, you know, like my big push goal is like 10-star diamond. That's like a big reach goal for the record. And it's like, that's just so easy to like be like, oh, I'll start really pushing for that in July. I do that. So I imagine a lot of you do that too. And I just love the idea of, he talks about breaking up, treating each 12 weeks like it is the end of the year, and not just like, again, not treating it as, oh, it's the second quarter. Like this 12 weeks is your year. Go after it. What are your goals for this 12 weeks? Have that same intensity and same push that you would if it was December 31st and you're trying to hit elite. And the reason this made me think of that so much is because, you know, my big goal was to hit elite last year, which, you know, pretty much miraculously I did. But I kept just assuming things were going to fall into place. October, I still felt really good about my position. You know, I needed to have 2 new diamonds, you know, get back to diamond, or, you know, show up diamond in December. That was like my big thing keeping me from being elite. I just knew some girls were going to get there. You know, I just knew that it would fall into place. Well, guess what? December 30th, it wasn't in place yet. And December 31st was the deadline. And me and two girls, Jessie Fleming on this call and Ashley Townsend, they got to diamond in one day. And they had most of the coaches underneath them, but they had no emeralds. And the point is, honestly, I hated that feeling. I hated of it being down to the wire. I don't want to be in that position again. But because it was this hard and fast deadline, we got it done. And there was a sense of empowerment in that. And again, what if we had that same sense of urgency every day, every week, every month? You know, what if we treated those monthly goals not so flippantly, but like do or die? So anyways, that lacking a sense of urgency is something I really feel like our team lacks. And for the record, that starts at the top. So that starts with me, and I recognize that. But I just feel like, again, we don't set enough diamond date goals where anyone's actually holding you accountable for it. We just don't set enough of those goals with a date, which will produce urgency. So then he does a whole section, and I think it's important, just about, you know, your vision. You have to have a vision for your life. You have, Sienna, I'm going to need that. You have to have a reason to want to execute daily, weekly, monthly. And if you don't know what that is, you're not going to execute. And why would you? Why? I don't blame you. You have to know where you want to go. You do have to, again, I wouldn't call them year-end goals, but just a vision. What did you want out of this business? Why do you want it? He says, without a compelling reason to choose otherwise, most people will take comfortable actions over uncomfortable ones. You need a compelling reason to execute in this business. And I think a lot of us can get caught up in the why. You know, they say, find a why that makes you cry. I didn't have a why that makes me cry. I still don't have a why that makes me cry, but I did have a why. I had a why, I had a reason, and I'm competitive and I like having goals. So don't feel like, oh, geez, I'm not going to be successful because my back's not up against the wall and I don't have $500,000 in debt. You know, it doesn't have to be that. But I mean, if it is, use it and think about it. But you do have to have a reason to get out of your comfort zone. Otherwise you won't. And that, again, I wouldn't blame you. To execute successfully, it is essential to have a strong emotional stake in the outcome. You have to connect your emotions with your actions, or your actions won't follow. The number one, I loved this, because this is just so true in our business especially. The number one thing that you will have to sacrifice to be great, to achieve what you are capable of, and to execute your plan is comfort. Again, just we have to get out of our comfort zones. And I still struggle with getting out of my comfort zone, but man, from 3 years ago, I am so much more uncomfortable now. And that's a good thing. But I just loved that. And I think, again, in this business, it's so true. And then again, just a few more things on vision. Without a compelling vision, you will discover there is no reason to go through the pain of change. I know so many of you have tissues. Am I making you cry? Just kidding. Again, this business is hard. So if you don't have a reason for doing it, you're probably going to quit. And again, I wouldn't blame you if you don't have a good reason for wanting this. That's why I know it's like we talk about your why, and you probably feel like it's being drilled in, but that's why. You have to have a reason to keep moving forward and keep getting uncomfortable and keep getting rejected and keep missing those ranked goal dates, right? Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, now my notes are on my phone. So basically, again, the whole concept of the 12-week year is to, you know, you have your overall vision and then you break it down. Sorry, it's on my Kindle and my highlighted notes. So here's what I'm thinking. Our Beachbody quarter literally ends, I think, March 30th, or it ends March 29th, and the second quarter starts March 30th through June 28th. And that's why the timing for me reading this book and doing this call is so perfect. I just really want to challenge us to take this approach. Okay, hold on. Sorry, let me get to where, okay. Here we go. So basically he's talking about you in this 12 weeks, instead of focusing on all just the extra stuff that can get in the way, which again, this business is full of extra fluffy things you could be doing to feel busy, to feel productive. But in 12-week planning, you identify the top 1 to 3 things that will have the greatest impact and pursue those with intensity. The 12-week plan focuses on a few key areas and creates the energy and urgency to act. Your plan should start by identifying your overall goals for the 12 weeks. The goal defines success for the 12-week year. It represents a great 12 weeks and also represents intentional progress toward your longer term vision. If you don't, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Once you have established your 12-week goals, tactics will then need to be determined. So today I went through and I first of all planned my next 3 months. So I planned when I'm doing my free groups, I planned my challenge groups, I planned my sneak peeks, I planned my coaching information events. And then I even wrote down, okay, if my sneak peeks, then I wrote down, okay, advertise for the sneak peek this week, market for my challenge group this week. So that was the first thing I did. But then I went through and I wrote my goals for the 12 weeks. That included helping some of you guys get to Diamond. That included just, me getting back to a rank I want to be at, hitting Success Club 15 each of the 3 months. I can't remember any of them, but the point is I took the time to write down my goals for this next 12 weeks. And then underneath each goals, if I haven't taken the time to totally write down everything I need to do to reach those goals, but if something came to me right in the moment, if I want to help people get to Diamond, I probably need to do a Diamond training. If I want to, recruit coaches, I need to do some coach sneak peeks and coach information events. So I kind of just wrote down a few of the things, under each goal that I might need to do to get there. But once you do that, once you set your 12-week goals, you have to establish your tactics. And tactics are the daily to-dos that drive the attainment of your goals. Tactics must be specific, actionable, and include due dates and assigned responsibilities. So again, for me, again, when it comes to recruiting, I said I want to recruit 8 coaches in the next 12 weeks. So that would mean I need to do coach sneak peeks. Like I said, I need to do the coach information stuff, but I also need to invite people to those things. I can't just run the group and hope for the best. So I want to be more intentional. Like one of my goals is to be posting about coaching 3 times a week. That's not an invite, but it's just sharing how coaching has benefited me, sharing why I love coaching, just those coach exposures, as I like to call them. So being more strategic in our social media is going to be a big part of these tactics, I think, whether it's your challenge groups, whether it's recruiting coaches. We have to be a little more strategic in our social media posting. So he says 12 weeks is long enough to get things done, and yet it is short enough to create and maintain a sense of urgency. I liked this too. It's not enough to have the intention of changing. You have to act on that intention for things to get better. And this is the part I love, because we've all heard that. You can't just want to change. You have to actually do it. But he says, and not just once, consistently. You can't just try something once and, well, why am I not Diamond yet? You have to keep doing it. You have to keep acting consistently. And then he talks about once you kind of have those tactics written down, he talks about having your weekly plan, and then you grade yourself on your weekly plan. Did you do what you said you were going to do? And again, that's why it needs to be specific. You can't just say, well, I need to post about coaching. How many times are you going to post about coaching? And then you grade yourself. This is so me. Here we go. he says, we all have a tendency from time to time to rationalize lackluster results, but with effective scorekeeping, we are forced to confront the reality of our situation, even when it's uncomfortable. You know, a lot of upline coaches will require their coaches to fill out a tracker before they even get on the phone with them. And so that the coach knows, well, what have you been doing? You know, don't complain to me about not hitting Success Club when you haven't been inviting, you haven't been connecting, you haven't been posting, you haven't been sharing your journey, you haven't even been drinking Shakeology. And it's just so, again, so much of this is so relatable to Beachbody, keeping your tracker. And I'm actually not great at the traditional tracker, but I do have like this list of like, I mark off every time I've done, you know, I write which kind of posts I want to do that week. And then I mark them off as I do them, you know, so it's in my face. Oh, I still need to do a personal development takeaway this week. I still need to do a coach exposure. Oh, I need to create that sneak peek invite because, so again, that's kind of a very simple way of it. But, yeah, I liked the fact that, again, I'm so good at rationalizing my lackluster results. Effective measurement removes the emotion from the evaluation process and paints an honest picture of your performance. The data is not concerned with efforts or intentions. It simply focuses on outcomes. He said, more than 60% of the time, the breakdown occurs in the execution process. So basically saying most of the time, people just aren't doing what they said they were going to do. But people usually assume the plan is at fault and change the plan. He says that's a mistake because you don't know if the plan doesn't work if you're not working the plan. So I knew when I read that, I'm like, you know, I know some of you are doing a lot of the right things and you're still not where you want to be. So then, yeah, we do need to reevaluate, okay, what do we need to do differently? You know, but he says 60% of the time, it's not that what you're doing isn't working, you're just not doing enough of it. And again, I think that's so true in coaching. And if you feel like you are doing enough of it, then we have to reevaluate. You know, I was talking to one of my coaches and recently, and she just really recognized that like, oh, I have been kind of missing a piece of the puzzle. While she was doing a lot of the things I was saying, it's like there was this one piece that she realized she could get better at, and it might make a big difference. So you do have to reevaluate the actions, but only if you really are doing the actions consistently. Because if you're not doing them consistently, that's the problem, most likely. That's really it. That's as far as I've gotten in the book. But I just love the timing of that coming into this next 12 weeks. It's perfect timing. I would just love to see us. Again, June 28th is the last day of this second quarter, the 12 weeks. I would just love to see us approach that date with the same intensity that we would if it was December 31st. I would love to see us just get more intentional, more purposeful, write down what we want out of these 12 weeks. What do you want your paycheck to look like in June? How many people do you want to help in May? How many Success Club points do you want in April? How many coaches do you want to add to your team by June? You know, what rank do you want to be at? How many of your coaches do you want hitting Success Club or at least getting some points on the board? You know, just think about that. I just loved it. I think it's going to be really important to me in my own business, and hopefully I will share that down to you. Diane, I think I saw your question about coach exposure posts. I have a list somewhere of like tons of ideas, so I'll try to get that out to you. Again, that could be a whole nother call, and we can do a call on that. So yeah, but first, before questions, I want to open up to Holly because she read the whole book. So I want to hear what else she might have to say, anything to add that, you know, I just haven't read yet. So thanks for listening to me.
So, I mean, I think you pretty much covered it all. There were a few points that kind of stood out to me, like you said, that, you know, that just really speak to you and your business. And I know we talk about like our why all the time. And he said, once you understand the linkage between your life vision and your business success, you can define what level of income or production your business must deliver in order to support your complete vision. So I think where I am now is different than where I was a year ago, and that's only because I didn't believe that it was possible. And not that I'm where I want to be right now, right? I'm still pushing, but my vision is so much bigger because I believe that there's so much more opportunity than I did a year ago. A year ago, I still kind of doubted this. And because of that greater vision, I'm working even harder, right? And so that's what it's about. It's about you define your level of income, and then you define the amount of work you're going to do. So, I know I tell all my new coaches, like, you can build this business, and I usually say an hour a week, Monday through Friday, like not including your workouts, but do your power hour Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, get up early, give it 2 hours. Sunday, give it 2 hours, right? And those can kind of be when you plan things and get your stuff set up for the week. And that is how I grew my business really for the first year while I was working a full-time job. That is not the amount of time that I'm putting in now. And that's because my life vision and my business vision is bigger than it was. So just make sure too, when we say like you can do your power hour and grow your business, you definitely can. But you need to make sure the vision that you have for your business matches the time that you're willing to put into it. Right? I mean, that you can't just say, hey, I want to be a top 10 coach and I'm going to work that power hour every week and get there, because you're not. So I don't know, I just really liked that my life vision and my business vision now is big, but that means my level of production for my business and what I need to do also needs to be big, right? So, and that's what's great about the 12-week, this whole book, 12-week years. You define your success based on your actions. I mean, that's really, what it comes down to. And yeah, he said, in the end, you have greater control over your actions than you do your results. And that is hard in this business too, right? Because like Dara said, when you feel like you're taking the necessary actions and you're not seeing the results, that can be very frustrating. So for me, and this is construct plans that are not only number-based, but identify specific critical activities. So we all know, we have these power hours, and like Dara said, we need to identify the activities that are going to return us results. But we also need to identify the level that we need to do them at. And so, like it said in the book, like Dara said, you do need to be tracking. And so if you say, okay, I invited 3 people a day, so 15 people Monday through Friday, and I got 1 yes. I didn't hit, or whatever your number is, look at those numbers. And for some people, you may only have to invite 10 people and you'll get 3 people who say yes. For other people, you may need to invite 100 people to get 3 people to say yes. But you're only going to know that if you are tracking your own actions. And so I think, it's hard as a coach to say, invite 5 people a day and you're going to hit Success Club. Because I don't know if that's really true for you and where you are in your business. And so you've got to track it so that you then know how the actions that you need to take to hit those goals in the 12 weeks. And so tracking became really, really critical to me and my business when I first started, because I did not have people just reaching out to me. I would do posts and I would get like maybe 2 likes. I did not have a big social media presence. I was inviting like crazy. And Dara was my coach, and Dara didn't have to do the cold invites like I was. She didn't, right? We both our businesses have grown completely different. And that's okay. I didn't look at Dara and say, oh, well, she doesn't have to do all these cold invites. Like, obviously my business just isn't going to work, right? I just sat down and said, well, I invited 100 people in my first month and I hit Success Club 10. I had 5 people say yes. So I better keep inviting 100 people every month. And I started with less than 400 friends on Facebook. So that means I better be adding 100 people every month and starting conversations with them so that when I need to invite them 2 months down the road, I've already paved the way. So I am an engineer and I am like a numbers-based person. And so I just looked at the numbers and it sucked because I was like, that's a lot of people and that's a lot of work. But, you know, it's what I needed to do to make it happen. And now it's the same thing. I'm looking at numbers and I'm increasing the things that I'm doing. So I want to recruit more coaches. This month, I'm no longer running monthly sneak peeks. I'm running weekly coach sneak peeks because I want to be recruiting new coaches every single month or every single week versus monthly, right? So it comes down to, I mean, literally, and that is what the 12-week year is about. You are in complete control of your business and your actions. So up your actions and the steps you're going to take to get your business where you want to be, and it will get there. There is always more that you can be doing. And there's always someone doing more than you. If I have learned anything in Beachbody, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm working so hard. There's always someone working harder. There's always someone doing more. And the great thing about Beachbody, though, is people share what they're doing too. I mean, you're not out there recreating the wheel and doing this alone. I didn't start, you know, thinking, oh, maybe I should do like weekly sneak peeks just on my own. I looked at what the top coaches were doing, right? So it's really, truly just about taking action. And that is all this book is about. Just you have to take huge action if you want to see huge results. And if you're working full time and you have 4 kids at home and, you know, you can only work an hour every day, that's great. That's fine, you know, and align your goals to that and look at your numbers and look at what you're going to do. Push yourself and get outside your comfort zone some, but also know, you know, you're not going to move as fast as Bonnie Engel, who is working full time from home with no kids. Yep. Right. So that was just kind of my takeaway, and it's really been my takeaway over the last 3 months of just pushing myself. Like, if I want to see bigger results, I need to take bigger action. Like, period.
And just a few things off of what Holly said. While there's always more you can do, you don't, depending on your goals and vision, you don't need to do more. And, you know, I'm at a place in my life where I'm still working hard, but I have to surrender a lot of my like ego goals, you know, the ones I want because it feels good, but like, you know, ultimately I'm making a great income and that's what's most important. And so, you know, I don't do just barely enough to get by, but I do reach a point where I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to move on now to this, you know, whatever. So don't take what Holly said and feel like, oh, I always need to be doing Beachbody. If you want to be a top coach, then yeah, you kind of always need to be doing Beachbody. If you want to earn a 6-figure income quickly, yeah, you always need to be doing Beachbody. But if you're willing to stick this out for a few years, 4 years, and just be consistent in what you can do, I believe you can still have extremely successful results. So I wanted to say that. I wanted to say how cool it is that Holly and I are both elite coaches and have had a lot of success, and we truly did build our businesses so differently. I just think how lucky for you guys to get to see both sides of that and have us both to bounce questions off of. And while we're both pretty organized, she's super organized. So you have her as an example for that. And, you know, I'm Miss, oh, give yourself grace over here. And so it's just good that, you know, I just love that. And Holly, I want to ask you a quick question. What, a year ago, you did have still doubt about all of this. What made you keep going despite that doubt? And how do you feel like your vision became bigger?
Yeah. So I was just going through some photos, looking for my Transformation Tuesday post. And I came across my new cover photo that I had for my like page. And that was in April of last year. So almost like exactly a year ago. And I think I was getting frustrated because I felt like, you know, my warm market is dried up, but I wasn't completely dried up, but I wasn't ready to say, I put in all this work. Like, I'm not done with this yet. You know, like I was staying fit. I was still helping others. I was still hitting Success Club 10. So at that point I was like, you know, and I knew April, Sam was born in July. And so I was like, I need this to work because I need to stay home with Sam, right? I was like, I've got to stay home with my baby. And so that is when I decided, like, I've got to dig in and I've got to figure out how to get to my cold market. And yeah, April 2016 is like when I really started my like page. And now we're a year later, and that has been what has transformed my business, was being able to find that cold market. But I will say, I mean, April really into, I mean, December, I would say, is when I started really gaining traction with like recruiting coaches for my like page. So for those of you who, you know, are starting like pages, I mean, it takes a while to gain that traction. But I knew I needed to be able to stay home with Sam. So I went all in, paid $300 for the like page training. I wanted to know in my mind that I had done everything in my power to make it work. And then as I started gaining traction with the like page, I started realizing, you know, I think sometimes we look around and we're like, oh, Beachbody, it's so saturated, right? And it's probably because most of us follow a bunch of coaches on Facebook, and so that's all that shows up in our feed. But I started realizing the majority of Americans don't know what Beachbody is. The majority of people who follow me don't actually know I'm a Beachbody coach or what I'm doing. Yes, some of them have done 21 Day Fix before, but the majority of people haven't. And so when I started realizing that and how many people there were out there who needed help, that's when I was like, this is big. This is not saturated. The potential is huge, because there is a huge market of people out there who have no idea what Beachbody is and who all need help. And so it was really getting outside my own little bubble of the million, you know, coaches I had on my feed, and realizing that there was just great potential. And I think it's hard. You start getting tired, right? You start getting tired of searching for challengers and searching for coaches and feeling like, where are my business builders? Where are my business builders? And it just gave me that renewed faith that if you put yourself out there, genuinely put yourself out there, and again, you hear all this Beachbody language. You know, I heard the language like find your tribe, and I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, what the heck does that mean? I don't know who my tribe is. Like, I'm not an extrovert with a ton of like girlfriends running around, but I found my tribe. Like, I feel like my coaches that I've like met through my like page are like some of my best friends. Like, we are just all new moms, and we are all in this together, and like we are so similar. And once I started feeling that, I was like, I get it. Like, I just get it. I get that there are other women out there just like me who want to go all in, who are passionate about helping people, but also passionate about financially helping their families. So I think that just finding that cold market and believing, you know, finally seeing that it was possible. And, you know, you watch the top coaches and you see it, but like when it happens to like, you know, when you're like, oh my gosh, there's a coach, a cold market coach who actually wants to work the business with me. Like, wow, this can really happen. You know, you really start believing it. So, and Dara too, like watching you, like watching other coaches that you know, climb to the top, and you're like, she's not doing anything that spectacular, right? She's staying consistent. Like, I was like, you know, Dara's not out there. Like, she's not, you know, you're not like Lindsay Matway having your hair and makeup like done every day and like, you know, looking perfect. And like, I feel like Lindsay Matway is like this perfect like model of a mom, right? I was like, Dara's not that. Dara's like a real person. And that like gave me renewed faith too, as I saw, you know, you kind of climb the Beachbody ladder as well. So.
No, that's great. Thank you for sharing. I don't want to stay on too much longer. But if anyone has any questions specifically pertaining to, 12-week year, setting 12-week goals, call to action, I would love to see your 12-week goals. If you take the time to write them out, write down the tactics you think you need to do to get there. But then, me and Holly can also give you some feedback, for some of those day-to-day, weekly actions. No, I'm not going to chase you down for them, but if you want to write out your own 12-week goals, I would love to see them. Send them to your upline coach, and you can also send them to me if you want. So that's the call to action. Go write your 12-week goals, and let's treat this 12 weeks like it's a year in itself, with that same sense of urgency. And I just loved that. And go get the book if you haven't. Personal development just continues to amaze me with how vital it is to this business. So another plug for personal development. Any questions pertaining to this in particular? Just unmute yourself and talk. Fine by me. I'm tired.
All right.
Thank you. I wanted to do a screenshot. Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sorry if you didn't look good. Most people don't on these. Okay. All right. Well, I'm good. Holly, you good?
Yep, I'm good. Thanks, guys.
Hold on. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh no.
So you can count on me. So when you talk about reaching your goals, and I know it was in one of the trainings in the income surge, so I could probably rewatch it, but knowing how many people you need to reach the certain financial goal, is there any easy way to do that?
Well, it depends on if you're going from again, like I always say, you can make a good amount of money just retail. So it's like, how many all access challenge packs do I need to sell? You make $70 off of each one. You want to make $700, sell 10 of them. But in terms of the cycle bonus, I do not remember what the formula was for that. But again, a good start would just to be finding those business builders and helping them get some Success Club points on the board, because that means they're producing volume, which means you're going to start seeing those cycle bonuses. Also, when it comes to income, signing your spouse up, hitting Success Club 5, and putting orders under them, because that's going to contribute to your volume too. So I don't remember what that formula was.
Okay, so after I hit Success Club, then I start putting customers under Chris, and you just tell the customer, you're going to see that Chris's name is your coach, but I manage the account.
Yep. I always say, is that okay with you? And no one has ever said no. So yeah, you just do that. And then remember, if they ever want to be a coach, you can always switch them back to your account if they decide they want to be a coach. Yeah. So there's really no risk in it, in that sense. And again, if your goal is Success Club 10, then by all means hit 10 first, but 5's great. And, then you can kind of start maximizing some of those bonuses. I know I like the bigger numbers, just seeing them. So I get that. But
I just want to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like I've kind of had a big shift in I want you guys to rank advance. I want you guys to, have those big Beachbody goals, but I also just want you to earn money in this business. And there are a lot of different ways of doing that. Success Club is still the foundation to maximize your income. You're going to want to get to Diamond, but in the meantime, you can still make money, if you're not Diamond yet. You can still make money, if you don't hit Success Club 10 every month, but you hit Success Club 5 and start maximizing some of those cycle bonuses. So yeah, I'm with you, Mel. I want to see all my coaches earn some money. If I can find that formula, I kind of know what you're talking about, but honestly, some of that stuff still confuses me. So.
I feel like I got it when I watched it, and it's been, a few weeks, and I don't have it anymore.
I know.
It's going to take longer to build volume too. I mean, if you're looking at income goals, we're talking about 12, the 12 weeks. So if you're looking at income goals 4 weeks from now, definitely you need to look at that and look at that for 12 weeks out. But in terms of signing coaches and having them build volume, it's going to take more than, 2 to 3 weeks. So if you're setting income goals for 4 weeks, I would try to maximize your, like Dara said, sell 10 all access challenge packs and you're making almost $1,000. And then, 12 weeks out, maybe that's when you set the income goal based on team volume and you back that out. How many coaches do you need? How many Success Club points do they need to be getting? But that your team volume is going to take longer to grow than your, obviously, commissions.
It definitely is. And just focusing on retention. If you hit Success Club 5 this month, that's 3 customers who might get their Shakeology again next month, which means that's $90 that you're making off of customers you've already had. So again, keep sharing that value of Shakeology, letting them know they can change their flavor, and just, making them recognize how it's contributing to their lives for retention. And then also, again, when you're thinking about building team cycle bonuses, I would think less about what the actual volume is. And like I said, more about finding a person who is going to get Success Club points on the board, and focusing, like breaking down that goal like that, I think is a better way to do it. It's a little more, like I see that better in my mind than like, I wonder what this, yeah. Anyway, so.
Yeah.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.